Good afternoon and welcome to this Facebook Live edition of Let's Talk Access. Let's Talk Access is a social media program produced and presented by the UWI Open Campus. I am your host, Cleveland Sam. Thank you for joining us from wherever you are this afternoon. Today, we talk about early childhood development and specifically about the Early Childhood and Family Studies program that is offered by the UWI Open Campus. Today, I am joined by three special guests, and they are Cheryl Williams-Davis, and she's Program Manager, Online Programs and Delivery Department at the UWI Open Campus. Miss Wendy Bino, and she is a teacher and early childhood practitioner from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And Miss Nadisha Nayati, and she's a graduate of the B.Ed Early Childhood Development and Family Studies, and she's based in the Cayman Islands, and we'll hear all about her and from her about some of the other things that she has done with the UWI Open Campus. Ladies, welcome to Let's Talk Access.
Thank you, Dr. Sam.
Great to have you. How is everyone doing today?
Fabulous.
Fabulous. All right, I'm not sure where to start or who to start with because the panel is so rich today, but early childhood education. What exactly are we talking about when we speak about early childhood education? Wendy Bino, you have been a practitioner for quite a while.
Okay, good evening, everyone, to viewers of PBOC. To fully understand the critical importance of early childhood education, we need to understand the differences in learning and development inherent in early years age children. So early childhood refers to the period between birth and 8 years of age. So, there's this misconception that it's preschooler. So it's not just the preschooler, but it includes the newborn, the infant, the preschooler, the toddler, the early years of primary education. This is the age in which children's brain is highly sensitive to the environment around them. So early childhood is focused on the critical developmental milestones, the skills, and the concepts that children attain during this period of their lives, from socio-emotional skills to the beginnings of numeracy, literacy, and so on.
All right, thank you very much for putting that in context. I'll come back to you in a minute, but Nadisha, you pursued the B.Ed in Early Childhood Development and Family Studies. Why did you choose this program?
I decided to do the B.Ed program because I had a teaching diploma in early childhood education. And I started teaching when I got that diploma, and I realized that this is a calling. This is what I've always wanted to do. Before the diploma, I was, a bit apprehensive about it, but then having done the diploma and I realized, the love and the joy you get out of it, I decided to continue my studies and do the B.Ed in early childhood education.
Okay, great. And Wendy Bino, you have been a teacher and early childhood educator for many years. How did you get into early childhood education?
Well, I've been a teacher for 28 years, and most of these years I have taught students 5 to 7 years of age. Nothing can outshine the innocent smile of the child who has just discovered that I can do this. And I pursued studies in early childhood education for several reasons. Chief among them is the fact that it's a very rewarding field, and you get this sense of personal satisfaction because as an educator, an early childhood educator, you truly can make a difference in the lives of young ones because I have the opportunity to shape the future generations. I get to ensure that children get off to a good start in their lives and in their learning, because at this age, we can inspire the love of learning and help them to develop those ever important social skills and cognitive skills.
Great. Cheryl, how are you doing? We are definitely not leaving you out. It's your turn now.
Okay, so go ahead, Dr. Sam.
Yes, have you yourself been involved in early childhood education or no?
Yes, I have. And it's not only about being involved in early childhood education. It's just the passion for teaching and learning and the passion for children and their growth and development. So that's where I get it from. That whole passion, that love for our children and ensuring that we bring them up in the right way, ensure that we help them to develop in the right way.
Okay, great. And as the program manager for this program at the Open Campus, tell us briefly, what does this entail?
The program in itself?
Yes.
All right, so I should first off state that we have a certificate program as well as a BEd program. And so the certificate program, as it relates to the structure, is a 30 credit program, and students can then transition into the BEd program. But if they have that level of expertise, the subjects or the qualifications per se that are required for the BEd program, they can start directly in the BEd program, because the BEd program, the first level of the BEd program, is actually the whole structure of the certificate program.
Okay, great. And we'll speak about in a lot more detail further into the program about the structure and so on as we go along. But at this point, I just want to remind our viewers who are following us on YouTube as well as Facebook that the application period is now open for programs such as the BEd in Early Childhood Development and Family Studies, and of course, all of our programs for the academic year starting September 2022. The application period runs from January 24th to July 22nd for the undergraduate programs, and from January 24th to June 30th for the postgraduate programs. There will be no MPhil, PhD, and EdD program offered for semester 1, 2022 to 2023. That is the next academic year starting in September. Also want to remind you that the Open Campus, along with Compete Caribbean, we are running a community-based tourism business plan competition, and you can participate in that competition. Go to the website and submit your proposals, your business plans. We are also inviting applications for the UNESCO-sponsored Transcultural program that the Open Campus is also running for UNESCO. And for the students who are online, remember that you can now skip the line and pay online. Skip the line and pay online. So you can now pay online on the Open Campus website for all of your courses. You do not need to go in any banks in the line. All right. So Cheryl, I'm going to come back to you and let's talk about the structure of this program. Tell us a bit about how the BEd and the certificate are structured.
Okay, as I was explaining before, we for the certificate program, it's a 30 credit hour program, right? So they will have courses that are, of course, foundational courses, as well as the foundation courses related to early childhood development. It also encompasses a practicum. So let me state that the early childhood development and family studies program, I would say, is a blended program. So students will have most of their courses online, but they have for certificate level 1 practicum, but for those in the BEd level, would complete 90 credits overall, they will have 4 practicum components to complete. And the practicum includes going out into the field. So they will be going into the classroom to get that level of experience and expertise where they will be assessed. And this is very important for educators. So we not only want them to understand the theoretical framework of early childhood development, but we also want them to understand how it is, how they put it in practice. So we have the theory and the practicum. And for the practicum, I will admit that this program has been so flexible, especially as it relates to the COVID-19 pandemic, when we had emergency remote teaching and a lot of classes were being held online. And so we fashioned the practicum to ensure that students got that experience as well. So for students coming in, as we go through this pandemic, even though they might not have face-to-face classes, we have practicum that's online. So they get that feel of teaching and learning face-to-face and teaching and learning in the online environment.
All right, before we move off, Wendy Bino, you have been involved with some of the practicum. How did you find this experience in dealing with the students in St. Vincent and their practicum?
I quite like it, and I think the students, this is the opportunity for them to shine, to show us how they would perform in front of a classroom. They're required to do lesson plans, all the, all that is required of a teacher. So to do lesson plans and to bring some engaging lessons to the early childhood education. So I have found them to be really engaging, really exciting, and I quite like this aspect of the program.
All right, Nadisha, you went through this program. Tell us about your experience in this program.
Well, my experience was a bittersweet one.
Okay.
And I'll share the sweet part, graduating as valedictorian, that's the sweet part.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But bitter in the sense that there were challenges, and with everything,
right.
You will have challenges. Trying to balance family life with studies, that's always a challenge. But I find that the challenges that I had during the program were also learning opportunities for me. I can recall working with students with different techniques, study techniques that they have, and I had to adapt and adjust my ways of doing things in order to, just to be accepting of others. So the challenges I experienced were more with students, because I am that type of learner who I usually set my due dates for assignments at least a week before the due date.
Right.
And when you're given group work and you have students who are like last minute, and nothing is wrong, because in the end, I learned to accept others and their ways of doing things. So when you're faced with situations like those, I saw them as challenges, but then in the end, they were really learning opportunities for me. So those were just some of the challenges I had working with students. But overall, I felt that the program, it challenged me academically. I was able to take ownership of my learning, and
right.
by doing that, I was able to, just immerse myself into what I was doing and then applying it when I go out into the working world. So when I learn about all the theorists like Lev Vygotsky and Jean Piaget, and researching and finding that, oh, this is what they say about this type of learner, and then taking that into the classroom, it allowed me to really own my craft. So I felt really challenged in the sense that I'm not just learning, but I'm also able to apply what I'm learning. So it was a very pleasant experience for me.
All right,
and I
we're
could
going to
go
speak
on and on and on.
We're going to speak a lot more about that, because you're also a teacher at reception, which is one of the areas in which you can actually apply some of the things that you learned in this program, yes?
Definitely, as a reception teacher, I get to apply all of what I've learned, and especially now in the pandemic with remote teaching and online and doing everything. And even the program that I did, the bachelor's degree with UWI, there are courses with information and communication technology. So I was well prepared. I remember doing a survey when they asked, how prepared are you for online learning during the pandemic? And I started celebrating because I remember doing that course. I could even recall the name of the lecturer. So I was well prepared during the lockdown to take on the challenges.
Great. Cheryl,
Dr. Sam, before you go on. Yes, one of the other things I quite like about the practicum aspect of the program is the fact that students are able to add something to their school, be it a science room, partner of the classroom, or have some fundraising activity to help and enhance the school plans, and they also involved in a parenting workshop, which I find is really, really quite good, because they get the full experience of what it is like to be in an early childhood center. So they can plan workshops and they can also enhance the school plans.
Great. Cheryl, I was saying that listening to Nadisha, this is music to your ears.
Absolutely. I would like to add, Dr. Sam, that I can post. the Open Campus can boast that even though the program is challenging, as Nadisha said, we have many graduates who have topped their class, who are valedictorians, and graduates from the program who have high GPAs. So we have graduates graduating honors. So that speaks to the quality of the program that we have here at Open Campus.
And that leads very nicely into my next question to you, Cheryl, in terms of how do you take students in? What are the entry requirements that they need to meet in order to enter this program?
All right, so I will first give a disclaimer that I get very excited when I speak about entry requirements, because I see the different levels that we have for students to enter into our program. It gives that opportunity for anybody, everybody who is so excited and interested in the early childhood program to really come and experience world-class education at the Open Campus. So we have different levels. We have the normal level with Scheme A and Scheme B, and that will include persons who hold CSEC subjects as well as A-level subject or CAPE subjects, right? However, if you are not holders of probably 5 CSEC subjects with 2 GCE A-level or 2 CAPEs, that's Scheme A, you can enter within the lower level program. And there are many, many, many options. So the first option is you can have 5 CSEC subjects or GCE O-level subjects that will include your English A, your mathematics or your foreign language, and 3 other subjects that are approved, right? You can also be at the age of 21 and you will have some experience within the early childhood setting, which we can have further discussion about PLA entrance, right? PLA for matriculation, which is the admissions level. You can also have certification. So if you don't have the CSEC, but you have certification from like the School of Continuing Studies or any other institution, whether at the diploma or certificate level, that encompasses what is taught at early child, taught for early childhood practitioners, you are able to enter the program as well. So many, many ways in which you can enter the program, because we not only look at entry requirements, but we look at the passion for teaching and learning, the passion for early childhood education. And so we give students that option.
All right, great. So there are different pathways that students can use to enter this program. Prior learning assessment, because I think earlier I said PLA. So just to make sure I state what it means, prior learning assessment. And you mentioned that there are 2 tracks, as it were, for prior learning assessment. Can you explain these for us, please?
All right, so we have prior learning assessment, PLA, for matriculation, and that's related to admissions. So if it is a case where you have the experience within the early childhood field, however, you may not have the qualifications as I have listed, the CSEC and the A-levels and O-levels at the GCE exam, then you can come in with your experience. And what will happen is that you'll do a course, and that course will help you to create a portfolio. And in creating that portfolio, we will have a better snapshot of your experience and expertise that will help you in going forward into the program. Also, we have prior learning assessment, advanced placement. So you have the experience, but you have qualifications as well. So you can do the advanced placement in which you will be exempted from certain courses, and you will have to provide a portfolio that shows you have the experience for you to be exempted from those courses.
Okay, I mean, I'm so excited about PLA, and I'm really hoping that persons who have the experience and are interested in this program would take up the offer to apply for the prior learning assessment and complete their portfolio. Cheryl, believe it or not, we already have 2 questions for you. So
wow.
I'm not going to keep the people waiting. I'm going to answer their questions so that if they have further questions, they can ask them as we go through the program. The first question is, if a student has completed a certificate program at another university, are they eligible for a transfer of credits?
Okay, so we do have what we consider to be an exemption program, in which we have a list of schools or a list of courses from different institutions that we deem to be equivalent. And so students can go ahead, apply for it, apply for those exemptions, and based on our assessment, we will determine if these credits can be carried forward. So that's how we will go forward with that.
Right, that's great to know. I hope our viewer has heard you. And the other question is, what happens if someone did not finish the B.Ed? I'm not sure what they mean, what happens. I guess we'd encourage them to come back and finish it.
Of course, we would encourage them to come back and finish. Depending on the amount of years that they have been out of the system, they might have to reapply and they will come back in. Of course, whatever courses that they have completed will be there on their records, and then we will determine the way forward. But we would love for you, whosoever it is, Mr. Viewer, Miss Viewer, to come back into the program, because you will be completing an exceptional program and you will be superbly qualified as an early childhood practitioner.
Great. Right, in terms of the program, what's the duration of this program? Well, you can tell us first of all about the certificate and then the B.Ed.
All right, so the certificate program is 1 year full-time. And let me clarify what it means about full-time. In online learning, we say full-time because this is the only thing that you're focusing on, and you're able to complete the maximum amount of courses allowed for each semester. So if you are completing the maximum amount of courses for each semester, as long as they're available, then you will be finished in 1 year. For the B.Ed program, it's 3 years full-time, same concept of full-time applies, and so it's and up to 5 years part-time. So for example, even though we say 3 years full-time and we lay out the courses for you, if you are going to take 2 courses less than what we have asked you to take, it would take, of course, a longer time for you to complete.
Okay, and you said full-time, they're carrying a specific number of courses each.
Yes, each semester.
Right. Is there a maximum number of years? So let's say someone, okay, I'm going to take 1 course per semester and 2 next. I mean, is there like 6 years, 5 years, we give you a maximum?
Sure. We ask that you complete it within 5 years, because the program is constantly being reviewed. If we want to provide quality to our students, we have to ensure we review, we see where we can make improvements. So because the program is being reviewed so often, we have to ensure that students complete in a specific time period. So up to 5 years.
Great. Nadisha, I'm going to be a little facetious. How long did you take to complete the program?
It took me just 3 years.
Oh, wow. No wonder you are the valedictorian.
And I just want to add something to what Cheryl said. For persons who want to do the program, there is a document, I think it's called the Program Advising Document, yes, where you are guided throughout the program as to when to take the courses. So if you pay close attention to that document, you can decide if you want to finish it in 3 years or 4 years. So that's a very important document that prospective students should pay close attention to, because that is their guide, because that's what I used. So like in 1 semester, I remember I did 4 courses, which was very ambitious, but I wanted to finish my degree within 3 years because I had a goal in mind. Yeah.
Right. And what was the best part of this program for you?
The best part of this program, there are so many, but I'm going to share 2. Okay. I felt as though I was a part of a melting pot, you know, having that diverse background of individuals working with. And I remember there was a death in my family when I was doing my B.Ed program. And because I was with so many individuals who were I felt like I was in a family. You know, I was supported and I was encouraged with the constant emails and WhatsApp messages that were sent to me. And so I took that away from my program. It has nothing to do with academics, but I just felt as though the persons within the program were very supportive, and not just students or colleagues, but I'm talking about lecturers, course facilitators. They were all a part of the journey with me. And a lot of persons will say, but you're studying online, how will you, get that support? I can tell them the support is there, and you will feel it, you will see it, and you will know that you're a part of that melting pot experience that I'm sharing. So that was something that will always be with me.
Right, you said there were two. That's one.
Well, that's one. The other one is, having completed my bachelor's, I realized that I was able to step out of my comfort zone. I was confident enough to start applying for jobs outside of the teaching realm. And
Right.
so I was bold enough to apply for a position as a school inspector here in the Cayman Islands, and I got through with that. So doing my bachelor's, at the time I didn't have my master's, just the bachelor's degree. And
Right.
I said, I was challenged with this program. I am confident enough that I can take on other challenges besides teaching. And so I decided, let me give it a try. And there I became an associate inspector just by using the experiences I had at UWI and using my bachelor's degree. I said, I'm going to go for it. So I was challenged, and I used that challenge in a positive way to step outside of my comfort zone.
That's a great testimonial right there for the open campus for this program, if there ever was one. Congratulations. So you're a school inspector now in the Cayman Islands. You also at reception.
Yes.
So how do you apply what you learned in the early childhood program to your inspectorate work?
So as an inspector, I go out in schools, because I have a full-time job, I only do this 3 times per year. So when you go out to assess the quality of each school, you're not just going out to assess to see how well they are performing, but you're also going out with the mindset of how can we help to improve these schools. So
these are not regular schools. These are early childhood centers and so on?
Early childhood centers, as well as primary schools. I am only able to go out to private primary schools because I work in the public sector, conflict of interest. So I have to do just the private sector, but I get to do all the preschool settings.
Right.
Yes, so using what I've learned from my B.Ed program, I'm able to go now with theoretical information, not just what I think should be, but what I know based on theory. And the B.Ed program gave me a wealth of knowledge and information. So I can just take everything that I've learned and apply it when I go out. It's not just what I think or what I feel should be in place in a preschool or primary school, but what is theoretically sound. So having that knowledge and using it to inspect schools is what I do.
Okay, great. Congratulations to you. You're doing great things with your open campus qualifications.
Thank you.
All right. And there are some other questions. I'm going to come to them in a bit, but to my colleague Cheryl, can you tell us a bit about how the program is assessed?
Okay, so as I was explaining before, it's a blended program. So we have the practicum component. For all the courses that are online, it's 100% continuous assessments. So therefore, we don't have any exams that students will have to go to centers to sit. But they have numerous ways in which you're assessed, whether it's through discussion forums, whether it's through group presentations, and we do many creative things because we're in the early childhood era, right? So they create websites, they create different songs and games and different images that will be applicable to the early childhood setting. So it's continuous assessment, it's exciting, it's helping the student to not only be responsible online learners, but to ensure that they develop that level of creativity that is needed for early childhood educators.
So we're talking here about case studies, group work.
Yes, but not only case studies and group work. They have to bring that level of creativity. So
Right.
they will create games and things that students can play with. They will create menus that you could have at early childhood centers. So it's not only about, case studies and discussion forums, but things that are more applicable, things that are more hands-on. And trust me, it works in the online setting.
Nadisha, I want to bring you in here again as somebody who went through this. Tell us about some of the exciting things you did in terms of your assessment.
Some of the exciting things, there are so many. I remember creating a play model for an all-inclusive early childhood center. So I had to do research and I had to put all my pieces. And even though it was online, as Cheryl mentioned, I had to create a play structure that is appropriate for not just able-bodied students, but students with learning disabilities. That was very exciting. I got all my work colleagues at the time to be on board. And interestingly, after that, even though I did it for an assessment piece, the school I was working at used that model and actually created different structures within the preschool setting. So that was one that I did. Another thing I had to do was create a website. And because of that, I am now able to create my own website. And now I have a toddler here at home who seems to be a little bit advanced. So now I'm thinking about creating my website just to promote and educate others on how to, introduce oral language and make oral language development rich in the homes to help their students or their children. So I was able to create websites and just so many. I can't go into all of them.
Okay, great. I don't want to miss these questions. So Cheryl, I'm going to bring you in again for some of these questions. This person seems as if they're in Barbados. Should I apply to Earlyston Teachers Training College in Barbados as a prerequisite before applying for this course at the UWI, or it doesn't matter?
No,
Cheryl?
no, I am the student or the potential student can apply straight to the open campus. So they don't have to do it as long as they have the qualifications. And remember, I stated that there are many ways of entry, many pathways. So as long as they meet our requirements, they can apply straight to the open campus.
Right. And Nadisha, the document you referred to earlier on, can you repeat the name of it?
I think it's called the program advising document.
You're correct, Nadisha. Yes, you're correct. It's created for students to guide them, giving them a pathway, what courses are available in which semesters, which way, the best way for them to complete the program so that they don't have any challenges. But I must add, because I wanted to add this a long time ago, not only do you have the program advising document, you have me. So as a program manager, you can always reach out. Students, potential students can always reach out and ask for guidance so that they are on the right path to success in the program.
And last question to you, Cheryl. When are we going to have an associate degree in early childhood education? Someone's asking.
I will not speak on behalf of the university, but
Right.
we must speak about a certificate is awesome, as well as a bachelor's. And then we have a postgrad degree available soon too. So I think those are the options that are most viable at this time.
Okay, great. And the final thing I want to ask you specifically about the program, Cheryl, while you have the flow, is about the cost of this program. Well, the programs, first of all, the certificate program and the bachelor's program.
All right, so I can give a general cost. It is $360 US per 3 credit course. And therefore, students will have to plan themselves, plan their finances to ensure that they're able to cover their courses per semester. And as I said before, you can do a maximum of courses and a minimum of courses. So you see, the program is so financially flexible. So it's $360 US per 3 credit course. And of course, if you have a 6 credit course, because we have a few like Practicum 4, you will times that by 2.
Right. And their payment plans.
Oh yes, let us talk about the payment plans. come on with the flexibility. Now we have a payment plan available to students. Now from general knowledge, what will happen is when you register, you get a fee assessment. And that fee assessment will of course tell you how much you would pay for not only the courses, but of course the other administrative fees. Then you will have to pay a quarter, because what happens is that the payment plan comes in 4. So you pay parts, a quarter to begin the semester, and then you continue until the semester ends. I can't give specific details, but when the student registers, get the fee assessment, apply for the payment plan, and it will tell specifically when each payment is due.
Nadisha, were you able to take advantage of the payment plan?
Oh, certainly. As a Jamaican living in the Cayman Islands, I wasn't able to apply for any of the scholarships that are offered here to the locals. So the payment plan, I used it for the 3 years. And as Cheryl shared earlier, it's very important to have a financial plan, because every semester I would calculate the amount I would need if I decide to do 3 or 4 courses. And then based on the calculation and my salary, because I usually pay my tuition monthly, so I would be able to share that funds right across the 3 months for the program. And I just want to add to it that there you are able to view your financial statements on your portal. There is access where students are able to see how much they have paid and their outstanding balance. So it's right there where they have access to that 24/7. So it's not something where they need to contact anybody to ask how much am I owing. So everything is online and readily available.
Okay, wow, thank you guys so much. Great stuff. I know we have Wendy Bynum. I'm not sure if she is ready for us, but I have some fun facts about early childhood education that I found in preparation for this program. And I just wanted to read them and ask you guys to just comment briefly on these fun facts. They're taken from kidcityusa.com/early childhood education. And they're called 11 interesting facts about early childhood education. Wendy Bynum, if you're there, I would like you to weigh in on this as a practitioner. Language isn't learned, it's acquired. What is your experience, Nadisha, with students and early childhood students and language?
Well, you're touching on one of my favorite spots right there. I am a big advocate of early language development, and I believe that early childhood education provide that early stimulation and early language exposure. And as early childhood educators, you must always model the language that you want students to acquire. Even from there in the womb, I always tell mothers, that's the time to just speak to your baby, not just when they are talking, but language, you give it to them and they'll give it back to you.
Okay. Cheryl, do you want to weigh in on this?
I do absolutely agree with Nadisha's point of view. The acquiring of knowledge, language is basically through modeling what we do. And so it as we speak about early childhood development, we speak from 0 to 8 years, of course. And I believe 0 years begins in the womb. And so I agree with what Nadisha is saying as well.
Wendy Bynum, are you there?
Yes, so yes, I am. I quite agree with my colleagues. It's important that we model the language, because we know we have babies and we know that everything we say, they repeat. And we use in early childhood, we use to help develop their language. We use a lot of nursery rhymes. We also read to them so that they can hear the intonation, hear the way the language is modeled. So a lot of story time, lots of nursery rhymes help also to develop the language.
All right, thank you. The next one, preschool counts. Preschool counts. There's some school of thought that said that you don't need preschool, but according to Kid City USA, preschool really counts. All children should go to preschool, basically.
Well, the research says that when children get, especially attend a high quality preschool, that you would not have them as a teenager getting pregnant. You would not have them in jail. In fact, this longitudinal study followed children from preschool right into adulthood, and it was recognized that children who were exposed to high quality preschool were doing really well and even contribute to the economic growth of their respective country. So it's really important that children are exposed to high quality early childhood education, because it's for their later success in school and later success in life.
Right, Ladisha, I'm sure you would agree with this.
I definitely agree. But well, let me just piggyback on something Wendy shared just now about the experience of being in a preschool and growing up and so forth. I just want to share that preschool counts only if it's a preschool that's providing developmentally appropriate practices, because you can have a preschool, but it's not catering to the needs of the whole child. So that doesn't count. So unless it's providing the experiences that are appropriate, then I would say, yes, this preschool counts. And then I can also say that what about students who are homeschooled? If they are provided with that rich experience, that also counts. So there are two ways to look on that coin.
Thank you very much for that perspective. All right, the next fun fact says, kids feel emotion differently. Kids feel emotion differently. Any experiences with kids and and their emotional experience at the preschool, the early childhood level? Anyone of the panelists?
They do. I think they do, definitely. One child may cry over not getting a lollipop while another may just pout. So they do share different emotional experiences based on their situation, as well as based on how they're developed or how they're socialized with. So a child who is more confident will say, I don't need to cry for a lollipop because I might get another one later, while another one who might not have the language might just sit and pout and cry because he or she is unable to express him or herself. So they do share different emotions. I think so.
I heard someone else was coming in earlier.
Yes, I was chiming in, Dr. Sam. I believe that when you are comparing the emotions of children as it relates to adults, I think of their innocence and how they view the world. And basically within the program, there are courses that speak about childhood development and their emotional state of mind at different stages in their lives. So they do express their emotion differently and they feel differently when it comes on to different circumstances.
All right. The next fun fact is, and I know I'm going to hear a lot about this one, play is an essential part of early childhood education. Play is an essential part of early childhood education.
We don't need to debate that. Just go on to the next one, because we already know it's theoretically sound. It's all there, right in front of us. It is through play they acquire absolutely everything. And, as an inspector, when you talk with educators, they tend to say, but all they're doing is playing, they're not getting much out of it. But then when you say to them, your role is to facilitate the play, your role is to extend their learning through play. So a child may take a few building blocks and say, oh, I'm going to build a rocket. And then you as the educator now need to chime in with your questions, your open-ended questions. I need to challenge that child. How many blocks did you use? What if I add 2 more? How many will it be? And just give them that experience and facilitate the play. That makes a difference. So without a doubt, play is definitely important.
Dr. Sam, can I chime in here?
Of course.
Just a little smart remark that play is essential for everybody, even me, even you at this age. So, all work and no play makes Cheryl a dull girl. So play is essential at all stages of life.
Okay.
And play is definitely children's work, and it influences their growth in social, emotional, physical, and their cognitive development. It's really important, but I sometimes find that parents sort of dictate what happens in the classroom, and as professionals, we cannot allow that because we know the benefits of play to children's development.
All right, thank you very much, ladies. Final one before we move on. The critical period is real, and I have real in capital letters. The critical period is real. We did mention that early childhood is 0 to 8. This is a critical period in one's development, yes?
Yes, definitely it is, because research has shown that between 0 to 5, a child's brain is about 75% developed. So imagine not giving them that rich foundation between those periods of their life, when as they get older, not having the foundation. It's like building a house. If you don't have a solid foundation, what's going to happen when you try to build on top of it? So it's really a critical period.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for playing along with me on these fun facts. They were quite exciting, I found, in researching for this program. Now, let's move to something else. Wendy Bino, I'm going to ask you as one of the practitioners, and Nadisha as well, and of course, Cheryl as somebody who is in academia. What are some of the current trends in the field of early childhood education and development? Hello.
Right here, Dr. Sam, I will start off.
Okay.
The implementation of STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. This is very important at the early childhood level. And even though it sounds so highfalutin, it is simplified within our program to ensure that we develop critical thinkers, students who are able to analyze situations. So we look at science, how the world works. We look at technology. We're in the age of technology, of course. We analyze things. We look at mathematics, very key. So STEM is very, very important at this point in time, and this is being integrated in everything as it relates to early childhood education.
Okay, thank you for that.
Also, Dr. Sam, remote learning. The COVID pandemic has thrown us all into remote learning. And so that's the trend that this COVID-19 has brought upon us. And it seems as though it is here to stay. So it may have started out as a hectic process, but we are gradually seeing the benefits of remote learning, and it is removing some of those traditional barriers, allowing children to attend class from anywhere they are. So that's definitely one other trend. Because of this pandemic also, we have parents taking greater control of their children's education, because they are side by side with them, helping to support online learning, helping them to log in, helping to keep them on track, while teachers chat to them in their living rooms, or teach them in their living rooms, their bedrooms, their parents' offices, and so on. So those are some of the current trends that are happening in early childhood education.
All right.
And there's also a focus on phonics and literacy instruction, of ensuring that students are provided with rich literacy experiences. And there's also the trend of ensuring that early childhood centers are providing quality services to students, because, you know, many years ago, we are accustomed to having early childhood being viewed as, oh, it's just something on the veranda or the neighbor keeping the students. So you find that now they're having a lot of policies in place where early childhood centers have to be registered and they have to be at a certain standard to be operational. So that's one of the trends I've seen lately in early childhood in the region.
That's great. I mean, that also should help with the quality of the output that we're getting in the early childhood education sector.
Definitely.
All right, so I'm going to come to one of the things that we at the Open Campus value a lot, because we have students graduating with these programs, but what kind of careers and professions and jobs are waiting for them when they graduate from these programs? What sort of careers are we looking at for our graduates? Well, Nadisha, you are a great example of the careers that are out there, but what other careers are out there for persons graduating with a bachelor's degree in early childhood and family development, family studies?
Okay,
You can go ahead.
no problem. I'll chime in. I was ready for that because normally people will think, oh, you want to do early childhood development and family studies, you want to be a teacher, right? But not necessarily so. So that's normally the first career that we will think of when we think of the program. But how about being a play therapist? How about being a designer for toys for students or for children? How about being a storybook writer? So these, these are just a few examples, and I allow my colleagues to share others.
Okay.
And traditionally, people view early childhood educators early childhood education as some soft woman of over 40. And yes, it is heavily dominated by females, but there are a number of career opportunities that vary under the early childhood education umbrella. From administrative positions like Cheryl. Cheryl is a program manager in early childhood education. Teachers, as she said, children authors, illustrators, even special education, because this degree is so wide, it encompasses so many things. You're actually able to do different curriculum stuff. So you can be a curriculum specialist in early childhood education. You can also be a special needs educator, because these are some of the courses that you do on the program. And of course, you can pursue your master's degree in it. I did my master's in early years education, and your PhD. So it's there are lots of career choices that you can look into with a degree in early childhood education.
Great. And just for our viewing audience, I just want to list some others that I found. Interesting one, sales representative, where they said, with your insights into the education and development of young children, you can be a great candidate for selling learning materials and educational materials to institutions and parents. Of course, you can become an educational consultant specializing in early childhood education. You can also become a researcher to research issues related to early childhood education, family support specialist, home visitor, and there are so many others, youth worker, I think Wendy mentioned special needs teacher and so on. So there are a number of careers that are available in early childhood education. Now,
and Dr. Sam, you didn't mention school inspector and an early childhood director. And
of course, school inspector, children center director, and of course we all know teacher, which as you said, most people tend to think of when they hear of early childhood education. Believe it or not, ladies, we only have 8 minutes left, so let's try and make the best use of our 8 minutes. The other thing I want to mention, the issue I want to raise, what type of salaries, packages can people with a degree in early childhood education look forward to? Because it's important, you invest in order to graduate with a degree. So you expect to be paid decently, right, Nadisha?
Yeah, not enough.
Definitely, definitely you want, after you spend all that money for your studies, you're thinking, what will I get in return? But if somebody's listening in and you really want to do this bachelor's degree in early childhood education, I would say go for it, not thinking about what you will get in the end, but go for it with a mindset of what will I do after I get my degree? Because you might decide to do the early childhood degree and the job you apply for, because I have a testimony of that. After I did my teaching diploma, I was getting very little. I won't say the figure. I was getting very little. But then after I decided, you know, I'm still in teaching. This is my calling. This is my passion. This is what I want to do. Let me do my bachelor's. And after I get my bachelor's degree, I moved out of I moved away from Jamaica in the Cayman Islands. And what I'm getting now as a teacher, I would tell anybody it's worth it.
Oh,
So
great.
definitely.
When did I know?
Well, it gives you a better chance for an increase in salaries. In our country, we have what we call graduate teachers. So once you graduate with a bachelor's in early childhood education or any other field, you can become a graduate teacher, and it pays reasonably well as a graduate teacher in the primary system.
All right. And well, I did some research as well, and in the United States, the salary range from $30,000 to $68,000 US per year in the United States, depending on the job that you're doing as an early childhood educator graduate. So for example, if you're a consultant or you're a researcher, in fact, the sales representative that I mentioned is one of the highest paid early childhood graduates according to this list from www.indeed.com/career advice. They make about $68,000 US per year by selling products to educational institutions as well as to parents. All right, we have 5 minutes to go. So I'm going to ask my colleague, Cheryl, just to briefly give some information on the program, the structure, the number of years, the duration, and how can people apply for this program?
Of course, Dr. Sam. So I start off by saying that I wish for you to apply. Because of the quality of the program, I am so passionate about it. I wish I could do the program over and over again, because the quality of teachers, and as Nadisha said earlier in the program, that level of family, that community. So family studies not only relates to the name of the program, but also how we build that community of early child practitioners. So we have a certificate program, of course, with 30 credits. We have a bachelor's program, 90 credits. Remember, we said that there are different pathways to enter into the program. So if you don't have the CSEC qualifications, there are other ways to come in, which is like the PLA and for advanced, or the prior learning assessment for advanced placement, prior learning assessment for matriculation. Also, I should mention again that the program is blended. So therefore, it's not only about the theoretical aspect of early childhood development and family studies, but also the practicum. And we have 1 practicum in the certificate program, but 4 practicums in the bachelor's program. Practicum hours for practicum 1 is 50 hours, practicum 2, 50 hours. So you go into the classroom, interact with the students. When you reach the practicum 3 and 4, the hours are more, and you go more into teaching and learning. Wendy, as she said before, is also a practicum supervisor, and she can speak to how this practicum experience helps to develop you as an early childhood practitioner, helps to develop you to ensure that you are implementing the best practices in the classroom.
Okay, thank you so much for that. And I just want to remind our viewers once more that our application period for programs such as the BEd in Early Childhood Development and Family Studies and all of our other programs started in September 2022. The application period is now open, and you can apply between January 24th to July 22nd for the undergraduate programs, and January 24th to June 30th for our postgraduate programs. For this particular period, there will be no MPhil, no PhDs, and no EdDs offered for semester 1, 2022 to 2023. I also want to draw your attention to our regional business plan competition in association with Compete Caribbean for community-based tourism operators, as well as our Chance Cultural program. If you're a cultural practitioner, you can apply for this UNESCO-sponsored program. It is fully sponsored. It's a scholarship that you would receive from UNESCO to pursue this program that is being offered by the UWI Open Campus. And finally, if you are a student of the Open Campus, you do not have to go in lines anymore. You can skip the lines and pay your fees online with the UWI Open Campus. All right, thank you very much for that, Marcia. Ladies, I want to give you 1 minute to give your final words on the program. And I'm going to start with Nadisha and ask her what advice would she give to prospective students who are interested in taking this program. Nadisha?
Okay, my 1 minute. So prospective students, I would say to you, go for it. The UE Open Campus, go for it. You will be able to study at your own time, your own pace. You choose your study schedule. It's all up to you. You will take ownership of your learning. You will be academically challenged, and you will feel confident enough to step out of your comfort zone, just like I did. And I also want to share with you that once you get into the program, you will feel a part of a learning community, as Cheryl mentioned earlier. And also, once you're in the program, stay in the program, don't leave it, because trust me, at the end of it, you will feel that sense of accomplishment.
Thank you very much. Wendy Bino.
As an tutor and practicum supervisor, and as a teacher, and as someone who studied early childhood education, I just want to encourage my colleagues to get into the program, because it helps with not just your personal development, but also your professional development. And when you're doing this program, you will understand that some of the things we do in the classroom, we put theories to them, theorists to them, and we're like, oh, so this is what this is called, you know, things that you do. Really, you just have to apply yourself and all will be well. So get signed up during the registration period.
Thank you.
And you'll be fine.
I can tell that Wendy Bino is in an early childhood environment. I'm hearing lots of play and lots of noise in her background.
Definitely.
And the final word goes to you, my colleague, Cheryl Williams-Davis.
Okay, there's not much I can really add to what Nadisha and Wendy said, because they have really summed it up for you. But what I want you to understand is we have exceptional facilitators with an exceptional program. Quality is is really what we are about, and I wish for you to come and just experience it for yourself. You'll never regret it.
Great, great, great. I want to thank you so much for joining us and making this program a success wherever you are on the World Wide Web today. And special thanks to our panelists, Ms. Cheryl Williams-Davis, the Program Manager, Online Programs and Delivery Department at the UWI Open Campus, Ms. Wendy Bino, who is a teacher and early childhood practitioner in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Nadisha Nayati, who is a B.Ed, Early Childhood Development and Family Studies graduate, originally from Jamaica, but now resides in the Cayman Islands. Special thanks as well to my technical team, Patrick Johnson, our digital marketer, Louis Boxell, Richard Bath, and Marcia Reed for handling all the things technical as well as your questions and queries. Until next time, I am your host, Cleveland Sam. Goodbye.